Okay. Okay. So my co-facilitators that I have, please, I won't be able to see so many of the background, some of the comments that they are dropping. So you can just look out for the ones that are very important for me to attend to. You can just come attention to, and probably if you cannot see my screen, can come attention as well to that. Do you understand? Okay. So, hello, Beauty, are you there? Kelvin, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, I
Okay.
am.
Okay, can you see my screen? Can you see my
Yes,
screen?
you can.
Okay, all right.
Yes, we
Yes.
can
All
see
right.
your screen.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so now on the document that you have, there is a small introduction of what we want to do today. So basically, we are going to be looking at Power Query. Power Query is a data transformation tools in Excel. What did I say? Power Query is a data transformation tools in Excel. Now, as a data analyst, right? Because our focus on this section is to become a data analyst. And when we come to data analysis, we have different tools that we use for, to carry out our activities. Excel is the basic tools that we normally use. And most of the time, the data that we have, they are not always clean. Some of the data are messy, the data are very dirty, right? The data are very dirty that you have to do transformation on those data before you can start analyzing them, before you can start creating reports on them. You cannot just see data and the next thing for you to do is to start reporting on them. You understand? There are some scenario. I'm sorry, please give me like a second. Like a second so I can do something. Okay, sorry guys. Please can you hear me now? Quickly I'll turn to something. Sorry, please can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I was talking about Power Query, like when you have data, you need to look at your data, whether the data, they are clean or they are not clean. If data is clean, it's fine. You can go ahead and do your transformation. And if the data is not clean, then you have to clean your data. Now, there are different ways you can clean your data in Excel. I know that during your basic Excel class, my other colleagues have told you, some of the tools you can use to clean your data, like using text to column, left and right, using trim, clean functions to do that. In Excel, you can use Excel to clean data. But as a data analyst, if you are using Excel, I will always recommend Power Query for you to use to clean your data. I know for people that are not that know Power BI before, Power Query will sound something like something familiar to you because there's Power Query in Power BI as well. But don't worry, we will treat Power Query in Excel. We also treat it in Power BI. But yeah, so that's that. So now we are working with a particular organization called the Global Trader. So the Global Trader, what they want is that they want you to become their data detective, right? So they want you to be able to help them to uncover some truth about their data, and they want you to be able to give them clarity of, okay, what are, when it comes to reporting, right? When it comes to reporting, and they want you to be able to give them a kind of one source of truth about their data. Because at the end of the day, the reason why you are doing all this data cleaning, data transformation is for you to be able to, to uncover the truth about, or to be able to let the business owner understand what their data is all about. And the data is being used for, for a good decision making. That is the essence of everything that we are doing. So now, the global trader, right, they have data across different sources of data. What I mean is that for global trader, they don't have their data in a single place. I hope the story is interesting for everybody. The reason why I'm trying to go through this route is for everybody to understand how data analysis work in the real world as well, so that we know how we try to handle questions, maybe in terms of if you go for interview and all. So now for global trader, right, they have data in different sources. Some data are in PDF, some data are in Excel file, some data are in a CSV file, some data are even on the website that this global trader they are working with. It is their data. For example, now Datakliq, if you want to get data of maybe our data on the web, we can get data from the web. Number one, we can use Twitter, we can use LinkedIn, we can use YouTube, because we are the owner of all these social media platforms. If you want to get information about what people are saying about us, we can go to the web, to the Twitter page, probably we connect you an API, we connect to Excel and extract our data and do our data cleaning, right? Now, I hope I'm communicating. Sorry, I hope you guys understand what I'm explaining. All right. Now okay, thank you very much. So now we have the global trader is a company, right? They have their data on different locations, and they have it in different formats. When I'm talking about formats, I mean CSV, SLX, which is a Excel file. They have some data in a folder. They put some data in a folder, while some data, like I said, is on different platforms. So by the time you start working in a real organization, you understand this better, because sometimes organization data are not on one places. You are the one that's expected to bring all these data together on a single platform, where you can now transform the data, clean the data, and combine them together as well, and do your analysis on them. Now, what is our mission? Our mission today is to clean and prepare this data for what? For analysis. That is our mission for today. Now, the first thing that we are going to be doing is what? We are going to first do what? Do data gathering. Like I said earlier, our data are in different sources, right? Our data are in what? In different sources. The first thing that we need to do is to what? Is to gather our data from these different sources that we have there. Now, gather all data from different sources, database, web, folder, CSV, SLX, into Power Query in Excel. Someone will be wondering that how this thing in Excel, or what is the story of the story. Everything is still in Excel that we're going to be doing them. So now let's see, how we are going to carry out this task successfully as a data analyst. So I know some people might feel like, oh, why are we stressing ourselves? I can use Excel to clean this thing now. Why am I taking it to Power Query? Now, like I said, Excel can do the work. But when it comes to fast efficiency, Power Query can do it more better for you when it comes to data transformation in Excel. All right. Okay. So for people that are beginners, that is why I have to prepare this, this instruction guide as well, so that you'll be able to understand some things. So the instruction is that open your Excel, go to data tab, and you will start collecting our data from different sources. Now, for everybody, your only source of data will be folder, CSV, and SLX, right? You will not use database and web. But for this class, I'm going to show you database and web for the sake of the class, because some of you have not done database before. You have not done web before. So but the only one that you have access to is the folder CSV and XLS, which once you download those documents, you will have it in these three formats. So please, in case I'm doing something that's a bit different from what you have, just know that I'm just doing it because me, I have access to it and you don't have access to it. And also, you can also have access to it. Maybe when you are trying to practice it, you can put your data in a database if you know how to use database, or put it on OneDrive or SharePoint in case you understand. So that is what I would say concerning that. So let's see how we can start gathering our data, which is our first instruction. So the first thing is to what? Is to gather our data from different sources. So what I will do now is that I'm going to open an Excel sheet. I will open an Excel sheet. Please, can you guys hear me? I hope I'm still communicating. I hope you guys can still hear me. I hope I'm still
Yes, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to open my Excel, right? Let me see the number of people on this call so that I will know the number of people that will drag me back. Okay, yeah, I think we have a good number. Okay, so I'm going to open a blank Excel. I'm opening a very blank Excel that I have not used before. Now, please, let's pay attention to something. This is more of like the front end of Excel sheet. This Excel sheet that I'm opening now is a very blank Excel, right? You can see that it is a blank Excel. There's nothing here. Now, the normal thing that we normally do in our, maybe everybody that is used to Excel, is to open Excel that has data. Then from it, we start doing our data cleaning or start doing our data reporting and all. But in this case, we are not going towards opening Excel sheet that have data before. No. What we want to do is that we want to ingest data into the Excel itself. We are not opening an Excel file. We want to ingest data into the Excel from different sources. Like I said, the global trader, they have data in different sources. So we are going to ingest the data into Excel using different sources that they have. So the most important thing that we need, let's leave that aside. So now, when you want to ingest data into Excel, right, you go to your data tab. Can you see data tab? This data tab, if you look at the instruction that I gave you, you also say data tab. You go to your data tab, then you click on get data. Hello, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can see a screen.
Okay, so you click on data tab, then you go to get data. When you get to get data, you can see different sources that you can extract data from into your Excel. You can see different sources like database, analysis service, Oracle database, IBM, Postgres, call it any sources of data that you want to, even from the Azure. Azure is a cloud base of Microsoft product. Azure SQL database, we will still talk about all this Azure, about maybe Fabric or something in our advanced class. We will talk about those stuff in the advanced class. It will give you more experience about what we are talking about. So you can see different sources of data that we can actually extract data from into our Excel sheet. Now, like I said, our source of data here is what? Is CSV, Excel workbook, and all. You understand? So I'm going to click on CSV, get data. Then I click on, let me go back. Let me do it again. Click on get data, then file. Can you see file? We are using the file method. File. Then I'll click on text CSV. Now, CSV is different from Excel workbook. Please, it's different from Excel workbook. It's not the same thing, because by the time you click on Excel workbook and you're expecting a CSV to show, it will not show. You must make sure that you pick the exact data format, the document format. It's just like saying that you want to pick a PDF. instead of a document, a Word document, it will not open. You understand? Make sure you pick the right data format. So I'm going to pick on the CSV. Then I will go to my where my data is, Quad 5, Power Query section, Global Trader. This is their data. I'm going to pick on calendar. I will import this calendar table. So can you see now that I'm connecting to my calendar CSV data? Can you see? You can preview the data. Now, you will see something like load and transform data. Now, the process of analysis is that if the data is not clean, you click on transform data. You mean that you want to transform the data, you want to create some action with it. Right now, I'm going to click on transform data because the data is not, to me, this is not what I want. I still want some other things on this data before I load it into the Excel workbook. Right? So I'm going to click on transform data now. When you click on transform data, it's going to take you to the Power Query, which is different from the Excel interface. Hello, I hope I'm not speaking. I'm still speaking our language here. Please. I hope you are still on the same page.
Yes,
Hello.
ma'am.
All right. Okay. So now when I have take this data into the Power Query, this is called Power Query. You can see Power Query. You can see it, right? Now, I am in my we are already in the Power Query section. And I told you that the section for today is what is Power Query. What we are going to be doing is Power Query. Now, I need to get some more data into my Power Query because I want to clean some more data before I load the data into the Excel. So I'll click on new source. From the new source here, I will also have access to get data from different sources of data, like the one that I showed you earlier from the Excel workbook itself, from the Excel interface itself. Now, I'll click on File. I'll click on CSV. So let's bring in some other data that we want to transform. Let's just gather all the data. Because of our time, we need to be fast now. We'll just gather some of the data that we need. So I will click on new source again. Another source is our Excel workbook. You can see Excel workbook. This is Excel workbook, not CSV. So we'll bring in our customer data. So the next one is our fact order table. The next one is our fact order table. Now, okay, so I need to bring this one here. I need to open something here. So okay, so the next one that we are bringing in, so let me show you what I'm doing at the moment, so that in case of people that are just joining, we are trying to bring in all our data into our, our Power Query in Excel. We brought in this 3 table already. Now the next one is our fact order, which we are taking from the database, right? So let me click here. I'm going to click on new source. This particular one, we are not taking it from the file, we are taking it from the database. And the database that I'm going to be using is my SQL server. I'm sure that everybody knows SQL server now because that is what we first did in our first class, in our first section, where we install, we install databases and all. So can you see now? You can see that when I open the SQL Server database, it's asking me for what? Let me cancel this. So
Somebody is
for you,
confused. Excuse
someone
me.
is confused.
Some- Yes, check the chat.
Okay,
It's not understanding what
okay,
it is now.
okay. I know that Power Query is a little bit, when it comes to Power Query is very confusing. Anyway, okay. Someone said that. Okay, so he said that a lot of us. Okay. Ifeoluwa and Dr. Tosin. Okay, so you are too fast. Really? Wow. Okay. No problem. I'll take it a bit slow, but we need to be fast as well. I thought I was the only one. Okay, so okay, no problem. So let me hear from Ifeoluwa where you are confused from. So Ifeoluwa, can you raise your hand and let me hear from you where you are confused from. So Ifeoluwa, allow my KK. So if you can you speak?
Good afternoon, sir. I'm so
Yeah, good
sorry,
afternoon.
but like since you started opening the Power Query, like I don't even know where you brought the Power Query from, and where like what you are pressing to download the file, like what key. I'm so sorry, but it's just confusing. Maybe because we're
Yeah,
fast or
and
something.
okay, I understand, no problem. So what I would do is that, well, most of the things that I'm okay. So what I will do is that let me take it over again. I'll take it over again. So let me close my Power Query. So let me close the Power Query.
Yes, sir,
Off.
thank you so much.
So
Yes.
let me close the Power Query. Okay. So right now, please let's listen. I will advise us, not to practice along. Please, I will advise us not to practice along. If you know you are not fast enough, but if you know you are fast, you can grab it the way I'm, because this topic is very wide. Like it's not like it's wide, but it's a lot that we want to cover. You understand? Though you guys will still do some of this thing in Power BI as well, but it's very good for you to understand the fundamental here now, so that when you get to Power BI, you will not be confused as well, right? Because it's almost the same thing in Power BI as well. So, but if you have the knowledge here now in Power BI, it will be easier for you to understand. Okay, like I said, you can get this is a blank sheet. I will just open a blank Excel sheet, and then I told you earlier that global trader, they have data across different sources of data. They have some data in a CSV file. They have some data in an Excel workbook. They have some data in a database, on a database. They have some data on the web, on their SharePoint folder. Now, they want to gather all these data for analysis together, right? Now, I said that the first thing for you to do when you want to get data is to go to your data tab, click on the data tab. If can you see my cursor? Hello,
Yes,
Ife.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
You can
sir.
see my cursor. Click on the
Yes, sir.
data tab. When you click on the data tab, you go to get data. On the get data, you click on Excel workbook or CSV. Now, Excel workbook is different from CSV, like I said. But let's assume that the first data that we want to extract is a CSV file. Now, the moment you click on one CSV file, we are going into the Power Query section already. You understand? But
Okay.
our end
Okay, sir.
goal, is that we are still loading all those data into Excel workbook. Now, please let me show you something. This is like the front end. I'm very sure that you will have your front end, back end. In Power BI, in Excel, this is the front end of Excel sheets. The Power Query is like the back end. You cannot see the back end because back end is not always visible to everybody most of the time. You will not know what is going on behind the scene. Now, something is going on behind the scene that you don't know, which is the Power Query engine, right? Now, the same thing happens here. The first interface is the Excel workbook. All the data that we are transforming inside our Power Query, we are still going to load them into the Excel workbook later on when we are done cleaning the data. Are we getting it now?
Yes, sir.
Nobody's responding. Okay. So now I'm going to click on Get Data. I'll click on File, CSV. I hope I'm not too fast. I'll click on Calendar, which is our CSV file, then Import. Now, you said that you don't know how I get to the Power Query. I told you the other time that once you click on Load, if you load this data, you will still remain in your Excel workbook. If you click on Transform Data, it will take you to where? To your Power Query. Hello? If do you get it
Yes,
now?
sir. Yes,
If you
sir.
click on
Yes, sir. Yes,
transform
sir.
data, it will take you to what? To Power Query. Now, let me click on transform data now. When I click on the transform data, it's taking me now to where? To the Power Query engine,
Power
which is the
Query.
back end. You cannot see this Power Query because it's more of like the back end. That is where some transformation is being carried out. Later on, when you are done, you are going to load this data into Excel workbook later on when you are done cleaning the data. So that is what I'm explaining the other side. Now, when you are in your Power Query, you are in the Power Query already. I still need to get some more data for transformation. Now I'm going to click on new source. Can you see this new source? Can we all see this new source?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
This new source is just like the Excel workbook when I was on the Excel interface that is showing me different sources of data that I can get, right? You can see different sources of data that I can import. And that is exactly what I also show. So now we are going to bring in more data because the global trader have different data, right? So we are going to click on the text CSV now to bring in more data. So I'm going to click on the category data, then bring it in. So you can see now at this point, you are not seeing load and transform data. Can anybody tell me the reason why you are not seeing the load and transform data when I try to bring in the category data? Can anybody tell me? I need someone that's
Because we are on Power Query already.
God bless you.
back
God bless
end.
you. Exactly. Because you are already on the back end already. You understand? Where you are coming from is the Excel workbook because you're already in the back end. And from the back end as well, they are still telling you that you can bring in data from the back end itself. You don't need to go back to the front end to go and be clicking on, okay, get data, load data or transform it because you're already there already. So you don't have to go back to the front end and closing and coming back again. You understand? So yeah, it really shows that you follow. So you can see now we want to bring in more data. The next one we are bringing is an Excel workbook. I'm going to click on Excel workbook. So let's bring in our customer data. Let's bring in our customer data. I think this is, sorry, my Excel is, I think is lagging now. Okay. Let's just hold on. My Excel is lagging. Okay. So I'm going to bring in my customer data, which is an Excel workbook. So you can see this is the customer. Now you can see we are not going to click on transform data because we are in the Power Query already, right? We're in the Power Query already. So it's processing. Okay. So the next data we are going to bring in is what? Is our fact order. Now, please pay attention. For the fact order data, you do not have database. So don't bother yourself about this one. In your own case, just bring in as whatever you have it as. If it is a CSV file, bring it as a CSV file. If it's an Excel workbook, bring it in as what? Excel workbook. Don't bother yourself about this database because I have it in on my database. That is why I'm using the database. So I just want to show you that you can also bring in data into Power Query using what? Using database. Now, I'm going to use a database called what? SQL Server. If you are using Postgres, you use Postgres. If you are using MySQL, you use MySQL. That is why we told you to install all these things earlier before we start the session at all. So I'm using SQL Server. I'm going to click on SQL Server. Dr. Tosin Ifeoluwa, I hope you guys are following now. I hope you guys understand it now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So now SQL Server is asking me for what? For the server name. And I will go to my server. I'll go to my database. I'll click on connect database engine. Then I will copy this server name. You understand? I'll copy the server name, then go back to my Power Query. So go back to my Power Query, then I will paste my server name here. Now, database is option. I know the database that I want to take it from. I will just click on OK. When you click on OK, it will take you to your database. You can see the database, Datakliq, and I have these fact orders, which is the data that I want to extract. Can you see? And I'm going to click on OK. So it is still different sources, different ways of bringing data into our Power Query that we are still going to load the data into what? Into Excel later on. So you can see the next one is what? Is our product. Our product is what? Is on the web, is on SharePoint folder. So what I will do now is that, can you see? I'll click on new source. I'll click on other source. Other source. Can you see? Other source. Hello, can anyone see my screen? Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we're seeing your screen.
You can see other source, and I'm going to click on web. I'm going to click on web. Now, the reason is because I just want to show you that you can take data from different sources. In your own cases, just use Excel and CSV in your own case, right? Don't bother yourself with all this process that I'm going to. I just want to show you that you can use other sources to bring in data so that you will not just be limited to one source. Because if you only know one way, it is just one way that will be sink into your mindset that, okay, this is just the only way we can bring in data. And that is not the case. You understand? So now I will go to my SharePoint. I have the data on my OneDrive. I will go to my OneDrive. So I'll go to my OneDrive. Let me check my OneDrive. So I'll go to my OneDrive. Okay. It's asking me to sign in. Okay, so just give me like his few seconds to sign in. Okay, so signing. Okay, so now I want to go to my OneDrive. So let's see my file. So in case you have your data, which account am I using? Fresh. Okay, so I have my data here, cohort 5, Power Query. So the data that I want to bring in is what? Is our product table, right? Our product table. So you can see the data, this data. Now this data is sitting down here. Now I want to connect this data into Power Query on my system directly. So what will I do? I will just click on these 3 ellipses, then go to details. Please, I hope I'm not too fast. Hello.
No, sir.
Okay, so click on these 3 ellipses, right? Go to details, click on details. Then when you click on, sorry, sometimes press something. So you can see it's going to preview the data for you. Can you see the data? These are the data. This is the data. But now I want to take this data into my Power Query. What I will do next is that you see this part. Can you see the parts here? This part, I'm going to copy the part. I'm copying it. Then I'll go back to my Power Query. Then I'm going to paste the link here directly from the web, from the SharePoint folder, or whatever you call it. You can connect the data directly. Now, what we are trying to do is what? I'm going to use what? Organization account, right? I will use organization account. Then I'll click on connect. I'll click on sign in because I'm using my Datakliq account. So I need to provide some credentials. So I will use. I hope I have the account here. Okay, I don't have the account registered here. Okay, no problem. Let me use another account. Follow at 5 7. Yes. Okay. So now let's see. Okay, let me put my password. Okay. So you can see now. Okay, so I need to use Authenticator app to approve this. Okay. Let me just approve this on email. Yes. Okay. Okay, so you can see now that I have signed in. I have signed in, and I'm going to connect now. I'm connecting now. So you will see that the product table that we have on the web now, you will see the table here now. You can see, you can preview the table. Can you see? You can preview the table, and you can have the table here now. Can you see? So we can rename it sheet 1. It's coming as sheet 1, but it's a product table. I'm going to rename it product. So you can see product. So you can see. Now the next one that we're going to bring in is our what? Is our region table. So region is a CSV file. So I'll just click on region. We need to be fast now, please. We need to be fast. I've shown you all this before, so I don't think there's any. We don't need to be slow with all this one. So because we have a lot of things to still cover. So I'll click here again, file. I'll click on CSV to bring in my, shipper data. Bring in my shipper data, then click on OK. The last one is a folder. Is different. So please, let's pay attention. This one is different from all the one that we have been using. Now, I'm going to bring in data through a folder. Let's say that you have a folder. Can you see? Folder paths. I'm using folder now to bring in a data, right? So when you are bringing a data through a folder, it means that the content on that folder, they are the same. Hello, what I say? The content on that folder, they are the same. If they are not the same, please don't use the folder path. Please, what I say? If the content on that folder, they are not the same, please don't use the folder path. So unless the content are the same, that is when you can use the folder path. What did I mean by the content are the same? Let me quickly show us what I mean. What I meant by that. So if you go to your others table, others folder here, so let me open the others folder. You will see that 2021 and 2022. Let's open the content. Let's open the content. 2021 and 2022. Can you see? 2021, this is 2021, this is 2022. Now, the content of this folder, of these two tables, they are the same. What do I mean by they are the same? This is order ID, product ID, quantity, sales amount, unit price, order date. It is the same thing that you will find also in 2021. Order ID, product ID, quantity, sales amount, unit price, order date. They are the same column header. The value might be the same, might be different. Definitely, the value it will be different because this is 2021 record and this is what 2022 record. But the column headers are the same. It is only when the content has the same structure, you should use the folder path to bring in data into the Power Query. I hope we understand that. Ifeoluwa, Beauty.
Yes, sir.
I hope you guys well. All right. So now I'm going to click on the folder path. This folder is actually on my system. Is on my system. So I'm not using the web now. So I will click on Global Trader. Then you can see the folder orders, and I'm going to bring in the orders. Okay. So now, because the folder is a folder, right? You can do two things. Now, you will see that every other thing that we have been doing is telling us what? We should just click on OK. But when you click on the folder part, the folder is telling you what? Combine and transform data. He now said that what? Transform data again. Now, I'm very sure that some of you guys will be confused. Which one should I pick? Is it combine or transform data? Now, this is what it's telling you. Combine and transform data is telling you that what I am looking at is a folder and the structure is the same thing. Should I help you to combine them together and transform it? That is what is telling you. If you now say, no, don't combine and transform the data for me. I want to do it myself. You click on transform data. Do we understand?
Yes.
Yes,
Now, let me repeat it again. It is a folder you are bringing in. Combine and transform data means that Power Query is telling you that I am looking at what you are bringing in. Should I combine it and transform it for you? Or you want to transform it yourself? Choose one of them, right? Now, if you decide that, oh no, don't combine and transform it for me, let me transform it myself, you click on transform data. But if you say that Power Query should combine and transform for you, you click on combine and transform. So which one do you want us to do? Combine and transform or transform? Which one do you want us to do?
Combine and transform.
combine
Any
and
other person?
transform.
Combine and transform.
Combine and
Okay.
transform.
I thought you guys want to see the transform data. You know what? Let's do the
Combine
transform.
and transform seems like it will be easier. Let's do transform.
So let's do the transform data because the combine and transform is very easy. You will not understand what goes on, but if you use the transform data, you will be able to see what exactly you want to do or the step that that has been applied in the combine and transform, right? So let's click on the transform and transform data. So you can see the data now. Now, assuming you have used the combine and transform, the data will come like this. It will come in a table format like this. Now, when you use the transform data, you can see the way it comes out. Now, the truth of the matter is that let's assume that in this class, I'm not using the transform data. And tomorrow, you are now bringing the data in. You now click on transform data. You now saw this thing. You will not be like, what this Mr. Folon taught us is not the same way as what I'm seeing here today. What happened? You understand? It's just because of the process that we go through in the class. So basically, we have imported all our data into Power Query, right? We have imported all our data into Power Query. Now, the main transformation, we have not even done it. This is just extracting. We just extract data from different sources and locations. We extracted the data. Now, the next step is what? To start cleaning and preparing the data for what? For analysis. So for this other data, so let's try to expand. Let's expand the data so that we can see the real data. So now, please, let's pay attention. Please, let's pay attention. This other data, you see this content column. Please, let's pay attention. This content column, you see this icon beside it. This is the combined files. You click on the combined files icon. You click on it. It's loading. So you can see. So you click on it, then you click on OK. The next thing you click on is what? Is OK. You just click on it and just to combine the files for you. So now you are the one doing it yourself. So you can see. Can you see? It has combined the data for you already. It has combined it for you. So how do you confirm that it has combined it? You can just go to your other date, just by scrolling that you can see 2022 and 2021. So this has combined it for you. So now you need to delete this column, this source name. You don't need it again. So we remove it. So you don't need. So now we have our data the way we want it. So this is what the combine and transform will have done for you if you have not clicked on the transform data yourself. Are we on the same page? Any question? Let's 13 question. If there's any question, let me look at one or two questions before we move on. Any question before we move on? I hope we have enough time. No question. Any question? I get only secret will not the description is readily available. Any question? Okay, so if you have questions, just raise your hand. I will just entertain one or two questions before we move on. Okay, so let me unmute Mansor. Mansor, can please go on and then chime in. Okay, just two questions. Just 2 questions. If you have any other question, you can drop it on the chat.
Hello, and
Yeah,
good afternoon.
yeah, good afternoon.
My question was, I don't get that description on the bow, like which shows the error and wallet things. Can you go to
Sorry,
your
I
screen?
didn't get the question again.
When you go to like, can you go to that Excel?
Okay.
I don't get this wallet error in empty orders on the bow, like above the table. Like this description which shows like 100% valid, error is 0%.
Okay. No problem. Don't worry, we will get to that point. Don't worry. Get to that
Okay,
point.
thank you.
All right. Okay, another question. Abisola, I can't hear you. No, I don't think you are talking. In case I can't hear you. I saw your message, but I can't hear you. In case you can hear me. Okay, so any other question? Another person. Benjamin, your mic is on. Can proceed. Benjamin, are you trying to say something? Okay, Ayodeji. Let me just allow two people to speak. Ayodeji, you can proceed.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Okay, sorry. My question, I mean, nice explanations or explanatory. Quick one. Sorry, this last one you did at the end, this content, then combine icon, that is for when you have folders, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's you're combining the folders together. Then you removed
Exactly.
something. What was your reason for removing it?
Okay, so let me take a step back. So what I remove is the source name. So this source name, we are not using it in this analysis. It's not useful for our analysis. You understand? It's just showing you the folder name. That's just the source name. So we don't need it. So we just remove it. So that's the essence. It's not useful for our analysis. And anything that is not useful for your analysis, you remove them. Get. But don't say I said anything that is not useful for analysis, you remove them. Oh, don't get me wrong. Oh. There is a way and there is logic to remove things. You don't just remove things because they are not useful. You remove them when you are confident that this thing does not impact your analysis. Exactly.
Instead of removing, is it preferably you hide?
There's no way you can hide. Okay, well, you can hide it on the front end, but you cannot hide it here. But actually, like I said, don't worry, we'll get to the point of when to remove and not when to remove. So we'll get to that point. Have I answered your question?
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Okay, right, thank you. Okay, it's fine. So now let's proceed. Now, back to the first question. Someone has a question around, you can see the valid, the non-valid, and all. So basically, we have a very short time, right? Because this is almost 1 hour. We use 1 hour to ingest data, and the main work we have not even done it actually. So, but let's us see what we can do. Now, this is the Power Query engine, right? Power Query is used for transformation, for data transformation. So basically, I will quickly run us through some of the most important things that we need to know, right? When you get to Power Query, we have the Home tab, the Transform tab, the Add column, and the View tab. The person that asked me the first question, this is when to solve your question, your issue. If you did not have this, unique value, valid error empty, is because you have not enabled your column distribution, column quality, and column profile. So let me disable them. Let me disable them. By the time I disable them, you can say that I don't have them enabled here. It is not showing me anything again. So until you enable it, that is when you will have it. So you have to go to where? To your View tab, right? You go to your View tab, then click on column distribution, column quality, and column profile. You understand? Now, what is column profile? What is column distribution? And what is column quality? What are they talking about? Now, column distribution is telling you about, it's telling you about the uniqueness or the distance of your data. How uniqueness your data is is it? Is your data unique? How many distance do you have in it? You can see 730, 730. This means that this particular column is what? Is a unique data. Is what? Is a unique is a unique data. Now, when you click on column profile is going to show you like a descriptive statistics. It's going to show you what? A descriptive statistics of your data, of the column you are working on. Please, what you are doing here is based on column, not on the entire table. What did I say? When you are using the column description, column profiling, they are working on what? On column, not on the entire table. That is why it is called what? Column profiling, column distribution, column quality, right? Now, column profile is telling you about what? Column statistics, just like a descriptive statistics of your data. Okay, we have how many count of the data? 730. What is the distinct value, minimum value, maximum value, average? Minimum value is showing you what? The minimum value in that column. The maximum value is showing you what? The maximum value in that column. The average is showing you what? The average number of, now we are dealing with what? With dates. Let's assume we are working with something like, let's go to, let's say, let me go to, let's go to orders table. Now, orders table, let's look at quantity, and I click on column profile. Can you see? It's going to show all the descriptive statistics of that column, the statistics of that column. Now, minimum is what? 1. It means that on this column, the minimum number, the minimum quantity sold or quantity purchased is what? Is 1. While the highest, the maximum number is what? Is 130. The average is what? Standard deviation. Can you see? It's showing you descriptive statistics of that particular column. If you go to another column, it is something else that it will show you. Are we together? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay. All right. Okay. So basically, the column quality, column profiling, distribution, column quality, right? What is showing you is what? Is quality of your data. What do we mean by quality? It means that, does your column have error? Does it have blank? Does the column have maybe like a variety of, data formatting? So the column quality is showing you what? It's showing you once it is blank. Now let's go to a particular column now. I think that's okay. See this column now. Product name. Can you see? We have what? Empty. Empty is what? 5%. Error is what? 0%. Valid is what? 95%. It means that some columns here, they have what? They don't have any value inside them. That means that that column is not what? The column quality is not 100% accurate. So what should we do with those kind of issues? How do you solve those kind of issues in Power Query? Those are the things that we are going to look at, and how to solve this column quality. Maybe when the data is not completely, what should you do? What are the ways to transform your data? So those are the things that we are trying to look at. Manso, I hope I have answered your first question on how to get the all these distance and all. So just enable all this on your view tab. And once you enable them, then you should be able to see all this. Any question regarding this?
Yeah, thank you. I got it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now, please, we have two important tabs in Power Query, which is what? The Transform tab and the Add Column tab. Please, these two tabs, they are not used for the same thing. You might see the same thing when you are clicking on them, but it is not used for the same purpose. Transform tab is not the same thing as Add Column tabs, right? Now, let me explain to you the reason what Transform tab is doing. Transform tab is going to transform on the spot, while Add Column tab is going to transform on another spot. What did I mean by spot? I mean that, for example, now, let's say that for our ladies, right, or our mommies that are here, let's say that you want to go to party, right? You want to go to the party and you want to look good. What do? You do transformation, right? Because I will call it transformation. Anything that it is not in its natural form is called transformation. Hello. Anything that is not in its natural form, it is called what? Transformation. The moment you apply makeup on your face, you are transforming yourself. It is called transformation. It is called change, because naturally that is not the way you are, the way you look. But the moment you apply something, it is called transformation. Now, when you transform something on the spot, it means that that thing you are changing, you are transforming, it is not moving. You are not taking it to any other, it is still the same person. The moment you remove that makeup, it will come back to you. You are still the same person. Nothing changed. You understand? That is on the same spot. But when you do a transformation, right? For example, now, so I don't want to use the example, but I think that might be the real example that I can use. For example, maybe you say that you are no longer a female, you are now a man. You understand? You are changing you are changing the entire look of how something is being. You understand? That is when you use what? The add column. Add column is when you want to transform something, from a particular spot to another spot. You are not carrying out the transformation on that spot. You are taking it to another spot. That is when you use the add column. So please, let's know when to use transform tab and when to use the add column tab. These are the major two tabs that I think that they are different. When you come to the home tab, it is a general tab to do some transformation as well. So let's quickly look at some of transformation that we can come across in our in data transformation using Excel Power Query. Before we proceed, any question? One question. I'll just entertain one question now. Any question?
I have a question.
Okay, one question from anyone. Oh yeah, go on, please.
I wanted to ask, for the add column tab, does it, your initial column that you are transforming, it remains there and then add another one?
God bless you. Exactly. That is what I'm saying. The add column tab will maintain the original column, but there will be a new column created for it. But when you are on the transform tab, nothing changed. The column is the one you are transforming. It will still remain there, and the transformation is on it. It will not create another one for you. Do you understand? Okay, I think let me answer one more question. Any other person? You have any question? One more question from anybody before I proceed. Someone saying of this thing is fine. Okay. Okay. So any other question? Do you have a question? Okay. So there's no question. So let's move on then. Okay. So now let's go to the calendar table. Now, we want to create a calendar table. We have our calendar here already. Now, like I said, when I'm talking about the transform tab and the add column tab, right? This is when we are going to practicalize the add column tab now. Now, I want to create a calendar table, I want to have year, month, some things, right? It's transformation. You understand? It is called what? It is called transformation because it is not. When I brought in this calendar table, I already have more information here. Now I want to create more information for it. The moment you are having so many things, it's a transformation that you are doing. You are transforming, you can transform to have things, that are more than what you have before. So now click on the add column tab. Then I'll go to my date tab. Can you see? Date tab. Now I'm going to show you something. I'll click here and I'll click on year. This is going to create a new column for me called what? Year. Now let me go back again. If I do the transformation on the transform tab, right, and I go to date and I say year, sorry, and I click on year, and I click on here, can you see? Can you see that this thing has transformed here? The transformation happened on the spot. Hello, I hope you guys, you guys can see, can see what happens. Hello.
We are following.
Hello, you're following? Okay. So you can see that the transformation happened on the spot, but this is not what I want to achieve. What I want to achieve is what? Is to create a new column for me that will be what? That will be here. Now, in Power Query, there is nothing like Control Z, but there is undo button here. So for you to undo something in Power Query, you go to your query setting under the apply step. You will see this step. So just click on the cancel icon here. It will take you back to your previous steps, right? So that's how to go back to your previous. There's no Control Z, right? So now I'll go to my date column. I'll click on here. So I'll be fast now. So please, guys, I'll be very, very fast now so that it won't take much of our time. So now we have created the year column. We want to create like month name. Let's say we want to create month name of month. Can see the way we are creating, different things using the date column, right? We use the date column. We want to create like week, start of week, or week of the year or something. So you can see, you can see that you can now start creating your calendar table. Start creating calendar table. Start creating, name of the week. Let's say name of the week. We want to create week. Okay, start of the week of month. So we can start creating week of the year. You can start creating all these things. Can you see? You can start creating them. So that is that on the calendar table. Now let's move on to the category table. So let's move on to the category table. Now, if we look at this category, right? If you look at the category table, does this category, can anybody tell me maybe what you feel like is not right in this table? Do you think that something is not right on this table? Or can anybody tell me the issues that we have with this table? Anybody?
It's not combined.
It's not combined. Okay. Any other person? So sorry. Before I move on to the category table, please, your calendar table too. It must be what? It must be unique. Your calendar table must not what? Must not contain a duplicate record. What did I say? Your calendar table must not what? Must not contain a duplicate record. It must be unique, because when you call a calendar table, you can never see a calendar table that is duplicate. You can never see what is today's date? 8/18/2024, that will also have same date repeated in a year. It's not possible. So please make sure that whenever you are creating your calendar table, it is not duplicate. Okay, so let's go back to this place. Someone said it is not combined. Okay, I agreed. I did not agree, but I hold that comment. Any other person, what is wrong with this table? I feel like something is, this table is not. You want to analyze this table, or maybe let's say, Ifeoluwa or Beauty, your boss gave you this table, right? And they say you should analyze this data for them. So this is how the table comes in. What will you do? What do you think you need to do?
It's in raw order. It should be in columns.
It should be in columns. Exactly. You understand? Now you can see now that the data that this particular organization gave us, it comes in different formats, in different ways. They are not clean. The data are not what? They are not structured in the same way for analysis. It is not left for you as a data analyst to start thinking of ways to make sure that the data are in well form for analysis, right? Now, for me, when I look at this data, what comes to my mind is that the data are not, category ID, category name, description. They're supposed to be what? They're supposed to be the columns, not all these column 1, column 2 that we have. So what should we do? What is the best thing for us? What is the easiest way to do this thing? Is to what? Is to transpose this data. Hello? Is to what? Is to transpose it. Just one click, we have achieved our task set. So I will go to the home tab. Like I said, I'll go to the home tab, go to the transform tab, then I'll click on transpose. On this table, I'm not going to click on anything. I'll just click on transpose. Can you see? When I transpose this, it gives me the correct structure of the data of how I want it, right? Though I'm still saying column 1, column 2, column 3, which is not the header. So the next thing that I will do is that I'll go to my home tab, then I will go to use first row as headers. Can you see? Use first row as headers. Can you see? Category ID, category name, description. This is how the data is supposed to be. Any question? Are we all clear?
Okay.
Are we clear?
Okay.
Transpose, column should be transposed. Yes, yes, yes. You need to transpose. Yes, yes. Okay, so let's move on. Column need to be transposed. Now let's go to the okay. So let's go to the customer table. Now the customer table also, all the tables have their own different, different things that they have. For this one now, the column does not have headers, so we need to promote our headers. How do you promote the headers? On your home tab, you go to use first row as headers. The structure of the data is fine, but the headers is not there. So we need to promote the header. So can you see we have promoted our headers. So you can see we have promoted the headers. So now what sorry, hold on. Okay, so we promoted the headers, right? Promoted the headers. So let's try to look at the data. Let's try to look at the data. Let's try, we want to try to do a kind of descriptive analysis. Now we just want to quickly look at some of the things that is happening with the data, what are the things that we need to do. Now, I told you the other time that some informations you might need to remove them, while some you don't have to remove them. Now, let me tell you something, how to remove data, how to remove and how to not to remove, right? Now, one of the most important things you should always look for in a data is the primary key, or what is called the the ID, the primary, let me say primary key here. Though we have not gotten to that stage of where I will start explaining primary key and foreign key to us, but it is the ID that you need to look for, which is your customer ID. When you go to your product table, you will see the product ID, right? When you go to your shipper table, you will see the shipper ID. All these ID, they are very, very important in your data, right? Now, when you want to remove a data, don't remove data on the row. Please, don't remove data on the row unless the information of that row is clear to you that, oh, you are going to remove it. And how do you know when it is clear and when it is not clear, right? For example, now, our customer ID, you can say that we have distinct customer ID, no problem. All the customers are okay. Now, let's assume that region, right? You see this region, this particular region, it is not, they didn't give us any information about this region. Can you see? Even the region is what? Empty, 66% empty. Valid is what? 34%. If you check the content of the region, can you see all these things, they are what? I don't really understand all this content as well, right? Now, don't say that, oh, because this region, it contains knobs, I'm going to remove it, right? Now, when you remove this particular column, rows, right? When you remove this information, you are removing what? The entire information of that particular rows. Even if you want to remove, let's say that you want to remove this region column, maybe you feel like the quality there is not up to what you are expecting. And maybe sometimes you can ask your stakeholders, please, this region, I don't understand what is there. what should I do with the region? They can tell you that just remove the region. You are not using it for analysis. You communicate to your stakeholders. Don't just say because you're a data analyst, the next thing for you is to start, because they taught you Power Query, how to clean data. The next thing for you to do is what? To start removing data. Whenever you see noise, remove it. We don't do that. You communicate with your stakeholders. How should we go about this data cleaning? They are going to tell you what to do. It is for you now to say, okay, but in some scenario, you might be the consultant here. Oh, this information, I feel like, or maybe you give them your own suggestion. Both of you agree, okay, this information is not necessary. Let's remove it. Now, what I'm saying is that don't remove information on the row. You can remove all this region because number one, the empty are too much. 66% of the cells, they are empty. Now, if you remove this region, right? If you remove this region, I'm trying to remove it. Okay, so let me just go to Transform tab and I'll go to Home tab. Then I'll click on Remove Columns. Remove columns. When I remove the region column, it does not change the fact that I still have my customer that is what? 91. My customer here is still 91. Can you see? The unique customer are still what? 91. Please pay attention to this thing. Sometimes your profiling are based on what? Top 1,000. So you need to click on column based on the entire data set to be sure that you are profiling the entire data set. So make sure that you click on based on entire data set, not just 1,000. Right. Now, the fact that I remove a column does not mean that I reduce my information. Now, let's do something else. Let's do something. Let's assume that I want to remove this null. Can you see this null? This null. I want to remove it. Because I feel like, oh, this is a null, right? I want to remove it. And probably I said, okay, I just say, okay, remove empty. If I say remove empty now, remove empty. Now, if I remove the empty, I did not delete this column because I want to make my value to be 100%. Now, I remove the empty. I have reduced my data quality. Why? If you look at the customer ID here now, it is what? It is 69. Now, what does it mean? It means that what? A customer give you an information. Some customer, when we are collecting data, maybe when you are doing your registration, we collected your name, your ID, your phone number, your email address, and all. Someone decided that he doesn't want to give out his phone number, which is not a crime, right? In a business environment. But some businesses will say that, no, it is compulsory that you give us your phone number. That is where you will do data validation. You must ensure that the customer provide that information for you because it is compulsory, right? Now, let's assume that when you are gathering your data, the customer decide not to give you information about some certain information. Does it mean that you are going to use that information that the customer does not provide? You are going to use it to eliminate that customer from your analysis? No. I hope you understand the concept now. So you need to know when to remove. You need to, sorry, please. You need to unmute your mic. The person that is talking, please.
Okay.
Please kindly unmute your mic. I'm sorry, mute your mic.
Your network, your screen is lagging for both of us. That's why I'm calling your attention.
Okay. Someone said I'm speaking too fast. Speaking fast. Okay, let me stop sharing and share again. Let me stop sharing and share again. Okay. So can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so now what I'm saying is that, right? You don't remove information or just delete cells or because you feel like, oh, a particular column or particular information was not given to you. No. When it comes to the customer ID, those are the things that you need to take conscious of. If a customer provides his ID, his full name, right? Don't remove on a row. You can remove on a column, but don't remove on a row when the information is given, especially when you have the customer ID and the full name. You understand? So please let's take conscious of that. So now let's just look at let's just look at some of the transformation that we can also do here. So like I said, we are going to, so let's assume that this customer name, we want to concatenate it together. We want to merge, we want to get like a full name. We want to make, we don't want to have a column that's called what? A full name. We don't want to have it in a separate name. So I'm going to click here and here. Then I'll go to my home tab, sorry, my transform tab, and I'll click on merge columns. Hello, are we following? So are we
Yes, sir.
following?
Please, can you take that again, sir?
Sorry. Well, give me a second. So what I want to do now is that I want to merge these two columns together, first name and last name. I want to call it a single, just like say that, let's say that we want to marry. Okay, someone is saying something. Please go on. Hello. Someone's trying to say something. Please, can you see my screen? Can you help see my screen? Someone said I can't see my screen. Who cannot see my screen? Let me stop sharing and share it again. I really do not know why some people are saying you cannot see my screen. Okay, can you see my screen now? Please, can you confirm you can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so all right. So what I'm saying is that I want to concatenate, I want to merge these two, first name and last name. I want to merge them together. I want to call it what? Full name. I don't want them to be separate. I want to make them a full name. So I'm going to click on the first name and the last name. Then I'm going to go to my transform tab and click on merge columns. When I click on the merge columns, it's going to ask me that what is the new name? I want to call it what? Full name. I want to call it what? Full name. Full name. Then what is my separator? I want my separator to be what? To be space. Then I'll click on OK. So can you see? I have full name. Can you see? Can you see the name? They are now, in the same column, right? So those are the kind of transformation that you can do. Like this region now, I'm going to remove it because most of the information here, most of the information that we got here, they are not accurate. And it's not like they are not accurate. They didn't even give us, a lot of them did not give us the information. So our analysis here, we might not really get whatever we want. So we just remove this entire column because in our analysis, it's to me, it's going to be a useless column for us. It's not, unless maybe we want to recollect the data again, unless maybe the stakeholder can provide the exact information for us on this particular column. So I'm going to remove them, right? So like I said, be careful on how to remove data, right? Especially when it comes to the rows. Be careful with the rows. Now, you can see these facts as well. You might try to remove them, or you might still need them because at least we still have more information here, 76%. Now, this particular person, if you want to know the person, maybe the person fax number or what, you can go, okay, what is the customer name? Customer name is what? Anthony Moy. Maybe you can, try to send him an email address, right? Okay, I think like 2 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, my pension company, like the company that my company used to pay that used to receive my pension, they reach out to me that they want some certain information that I need to provide for them, that I should send my NIN and some information. You understand? So when I send the information to them, they were able to update my data based on the information that I provided for them. They have my information before, but because they feel like, okay, maybe there are some certain things that have changed in my information, they want you to update it. So the same thing as a data analyst, we don't just fill information. I know some people will say, okay, go and fill the none with 0, or go and fill it with NA or something. No, you can reach out to the person or to your customer and get the information from them. or talk to your stakeholders. Can we get information of this updated customer and let's fill in the accurate information? You know, it will be useful whenever you have an accurate information rather than just putting in any random information over there. You understand? So those are the things, you know, that you need to look at when you are doing data cleaning. So let's look at our customer, our product table. Let's look at our product table. So on the product table, now let's look at something here on the product table. You can see that on the product ID, we have what? Null value. Can you see? We have null value. Now, this is telling you, even if you have information, you can see that the unit price, we have 5. This one, we have 9, we have some information here, right? Now, the most important thing that we need to look, once you see that your product ID is having null, just remove that particular information. Because, number one, there is no person that is bearing null. What are we talking about here? You go to a bank, or you go to, maybe you are in school, right? In school, they don't call you by your name, they call you by your what? By your matric number. Whenever you go to a bank, what they will tell you, the first thing is that if you tell them that you are so person, they will not say that that is not your name. The first thing is, give us your what? Your account number. Because your account number is the unique identification of you in that bank. And that the same thing applies in the education sector too. Your matric number is what? Is the unique identification of you in that school as well. Now, in the business sector, right, in our businesses and all, whenever you see a product ID that is null or NA, please just remove that information. Because what it's telling you that nobody nobody can answer for that. There is no product that will answer for this null. No product will answer for it, right? So whenever you see, you know, on the row, especially when you're looking at the product ID column, when you see null here, just just make sure that you remove such information. So now I will just what I will do is that I will just use my, we'll remove the empty. So remove empty. Now, when we remove the empty, you can see now that we have our product ID, which is what? 77. And it is what? It is unique. Your product ID must always be unique on the dimension table. We will still explain the dimension and like foreign key in our in our next class, in some of the classes that we'll take later on. So we'll explain those concepts later. So now your product ID, customer ID, they must be unique, right? They must be what? They must be unique. The moment you are seeing, distinct value, you are not seeing them unique, please just look at those information and, figure out what the issue is and, clean those data. So that is that. There is something else we want to do here as well. You can see that this particular column, unit price, right? We still have what? We still have maybe a particular column of, you can see that it is none. Now, the stakeholder here, they have told us that what? For the unit price, if you go to our documentation here, we go to our documentation, you can see they said that what? We should replace what? Unit price of product ID 74 with 10, right? They said that you should what? Replace the unit price of product ID 74 with what? With 10. So, before you do anything, like I said, you should always communicate with your stakeholders. Don't just say, oh, this information, I'm removing it because I'm seeing null there. No, don't remove it. Unless the data you are working with is not a real data. Maybe you just want to do a random analysis. But if you are working with a real-time data, you have to communicate with your BA, your BA or your stakeholders. Let them know, okay, we have a particular information, we do not know the price. Can you give us the price of this particular product, right? And they will tell you that, okay, this is the price. Now, in our case now, this company have told us that the product ID 74, we should replace the null with what? With 10, right? So I'm going to click here and I will right click. I will right click on this null So can you see? I will right click and I'm going to say replace value. I'm going to replace the value with what? With 10. Can you see? I'm replacing it with what? With 10. So you can see now that all our valid data is now what? 100%. All the things is fine now. Okay, so that is good. Now, the next thing that we are going to look at is how we can merge tables. Hello, what I say is what? How we can merge tables. You know, we want to consolidate tables into one table. How can we make tables in Power Query? We want to make two tables, we want to turn them into one table, right? So we have our category table and we also have our product table, right? We have the category table and the product table. We have the category table and the product table. Now, the information in the category table, we want to normalize it. We want to take the information here into the product table. Are we still following? I hope we are not confused. Hello. Okay, before I proceed, let me ask, do you have questions? Let us answer one or two questions before I proceed.
I have question on, can I go on, please?
Yeah, please, you can go on.
Okay, thank you so much for today's class. Very interactive. The one that they said we should change the product to 10. Now you clicked on it. What if we have a lot of products that we need to change? Are we going to click on them one by one and change them, or there's a way we could change them at once, like we have 50 to change? Are we going to click them one by one to change, or there's a way we can do the 50 at the same time? That's my question, please.
Okay, so that's a very good question, and I love that question. So now there is always a limitation, right? There is always a limitation to what, and that is why you will see that we are using Power BI, we are using Excel, some are using SQL, some are using even some other tools that So now, for me, let's assume that I have so much data that I want to do some kind of transformation, and I need to do some large number. I won't use Excel. I'll be factual. I'll be real. I won't use Excel. I'll just go and use SQL to do that, because on SQL, I can easily do something easily there. Do you understand? So that is one of the reasons why you see that sometimes the limitation of a particular tool is what brought in another tools. But what you want to achieve is still the same thing. Now, if what you want to achieve here is difficult for you to do in Excel, you just take it to SQL to go and do it there. Right? If I should go to my database now, what you just explain now, I can do it because in Excel or on Power Query, it's looking like it's going to be kind of difficult for us to achieve. I'm not saying that we cannot achieve it, but like you said, the process, are we going to be doing it one after the other? You understand? But in SQL, I know on my head what I can easily do. I can quickly just write a script. Please replace all the information where the product ID is so, replace everything with 10. And it will do it for me here easily. But I'm not saying that it's not achievable here as well, but it might just take a longer process or longer time. So that is why, we have to learn different tools for our analysis purpose. It is not that what SQL can do, Excel cannot do it, or Power BI cannot do it, or Python cannot do it. It is just that it is efficiency that we are looking at here. Okay, it's going to take me 10 minutes to do it in Power BI or in SQL or in Excel. While it's going to take me 1 minute to do in Python. Which one are you going to use? You will go for Python now, because it's more easy to do it there than using Excel to do it. You understand? So now, to your question now is that here in Power Query, I'm not really sure there is any other way to replace, to change information like that. It is the only way you have to do replace values, or you understand. And I think another way around it is that maybe you want to write some M language, right? You might write some M language and all, but if you feel like you cannot do it in Excel, please just go to other, programming tools and go and do it there, like SQL or Python, if you know how to write it. But if you don't know, you have to stick with your Excel and do it, the way you know how to do it. I hope I've answered your question, ma. I don't know whether she's still on the call. I think we have to use the filter option. Yeah, there are many ways you can use. There are many ways you can use the filter option as well. You can make use of the filter option as well. So anyway, okay, so let's proceed. Now, like I said, we want to merge two tables together. We just have 15 minutes to go. Please, I hope you guys are taking your attendance. So attendance is very, very compulsory. Please take your attendance. And yeah. So now let's quickly look at some of the other things that we need to do. So we want to merge two tables together. How can we merge two tables together? We have two tables that we want to merge. We want to normalize those tables into one single table. How can we do that? So I have my product table. I want to bring the information in the category table into the product table, right? I'm going to click on my home tab. Then, please, can we all see my screen? Hello? Can we all see my screen?
Yes, I can, sir.
Okay, all right. So what I want to do is that I have this particular table, products. Now I have my category table as well. We have category ID, category name, and description. What I want to do is that I want to bring this category into my product table, because what? I have category ID here. Because what? There is something that is a relationship between the category table and the product table. Now, me, I want to consolidate both tables together. I don't want to be having category table and product table. I want them to come together. Like, I want to consolidate both tables together into one table. How can we consolidate it in Power Query? So I'm clicking on the product table. Then I will go to merge queries. We have merge queries and merge queries as new. Merge queries as new means that I want to create a new table. And we also have merge query, means that the merge query should happen on the product. So I'm going to ask us a question now. Which one should we do? Should we do it on the product table, or we should do merge query as new? Which one do we want? Which one do we want?
So let's merge it as new, please.
We should merge it as new. Okay. So I'll click on merge queries as new. So I will make queries as new. So let's make as new. Now, don't forget, the table that I want to merge is what? Categories table and the product table. Before you can merge a column, before you can merge a table, they must have something in common. Hello? Before you can merge a table, they must have what? Something in common. So can anybody tell me what these two tables have in common? Can anybody tell me what they have in common?
They both have category ID.
They both have category ID, which is very simple like that. So category ID here and category ID here. You select both of them. Why isn't? Okay, so category table here, category table here. Can you see? So and you can see that we have different type of join. By the time you get to SQL, you understand all these join very well. We have different type of join. We have the left join, the right join, full outer join, inner join, and all. So by the time you get to SQL, you understand this join very well. What is happening? What is happening? Okay, let me cancel this thing and do it again. I don't know why it's taking time. merge query news as new. So product ID, category ID, ignore it. Okay, so the selection matches 8 of 77 rows from the first table. It's okay. So the selection matches 8 of 77 of the first table. Hold on. Should we use next right? Let me see. Okay. Sorry, I'm coming in. So when we are talking about the join in Power Query or join anywhere, so the first table at the top is your left table, while the table down is your right table. Hello, what did I say? The first table is what? Is your what? Is your left table, while the second table is what? Is your what? Is your right table. Now, our table, what we want to use to merge them is what? Category ID. And can you see that it's saying what? The selection matches 77 of 77 from the first table, meaning that all the information that is here is also here. That is what it's telling us. Hello, are we following? Please let me know if you are following. Hello, are we following?
We're following.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I guess some of you guys cannot even speak again. So let me just try to unmute.
We're following.
All right. Okay. So now we are merging them now. So I'm going to click on OK. So now can you see merge one? This is because we are merging it as new. Now we have to scroll down. Can you see the category table that we want to bring in? Now it's going to come in as a column. You now need to expand this category table. You need to expand it. So I'm going to click on this icon here. Now I want to bring in what? I only want to bring in the what? The category name and the description. I don't need the category ID. I only need what? What I only need is what? The category name and the description. Use original column as prefix. No, I don't want it. Then I will just click on OK. When I click on OK, can you see category name and what? And description. This is what I want. So can you see? So if I want to analyze my data, I can analyze it based on category and description because I already have the information here. Is this clear? Is it clear?
Please, can you
Hello,
repeat?
is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me go back again. So after clicking on the merge, right? I expand. You need to expand this your column. Sorry, the person that said I should explain again. From where? Let me understand. From
Yeah,
where?
no,
Is
it's
it
just
from this
that
place?
expand that you're talking about.
Okay,
The
okay.
expand that
So
you're
you
talking
click on
about now, I didn't.
Okay. So you click on the expand. The category ID, I don't need it because what? I have category ID in my product table already. So I'm going to unselect everything and I only select the category name and the description. Then use original column name as prefix. No, right? I don't want it to use that prefix. I only want the column name to remain the same. So I'll click on OK. Now, when you do that, you see that you only have category name and description. So you can see that we have all these. So that is how to merge, and you can see that this is what we merge. We can rename it as and call it what? You can call it new products. New products. So you can see new products.
All right. Thank you.
So now, yeah, okay. So now the next thing that we'll quickly look at because of our time. So let's look at the region table. This region table now that we have, right? We want to analyze this data actually, but the way the data comes in is also not going to help us when we want to do our analysis as well. is not really going to help us, right? Because why? We have some countries, they are, let's assume that you want to find the maybe you want to do analysis based on quantity sold at each country. Now, how do you want to carry out this analysis? You have to start doing it manually. It's not going to be easy for you to do. So what you can do here is that we can do something called on pivots. What did I say? We can do what? On pivots. So we want to make sure that all these Canada, US, Mexico, we want to turn it into what? Into a single column. Hello? We want to what? We want to sort it. We want to turn it into what? A single column. This is different from what? From transpose. What we did the other time is what? We transpose the entire column. But this time around, we are not transposing. The only thing we want to do here is what? Is to unpivot the rest of the column. So I'm going to highlight the region ID, the region column, then I will right click. I'm going to right click. Then I'm going to say unpivot columns, or you can say unpivot other columns. If I want to say unpivot columns, probably I can highlight all these columns. Then I'm going to unpivot columns. Can you see? Unpivot column. You can do it in two ways, either unpivot other columns or unpivot columns. So I'm going to say unpivot columns. Now, can you see? I can call this one what? Country now. Country. Yeah, maybe this is the quantity sold or quantity or unit sold. Unit. So you can say now, you can now analyze this, country easy compared to how it was before. How it was before, it will be difficult for you when you want to carry out the analysis. I can easily do my analysis based on country now, maybe Canada. You can know the quantity, the total number of units sold. You can see the region as well. So is this clear? Is the unpivoting clear? Is it clear? Are we clear with the unpivoting?
Yes, sir, clear.
Yes, sir.
Can we always do where to check the speaker mode during the meeting? Okay, do I have any questions about the different lecturer from the previous? No. So I'm trying to read if there is any question. Adebayo, okay. Adebayo, you want to speak? Okay, let me just allow one question. Adebayo. One question. Okay. Adebayo, you can go on. One question from anyone. Iyanoluwa, in case you want to speak. One question before we move on.
I have a question, sir.
Yeah, please go on.
It's about the customers file. I don't know if you can go back to it. The customer.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So before you remove the region column, I was just wondering if it's possible for you to actually use the address of a customer to actually get the region, if it's possible to just get that data in this back end.
Okay. So he said that if we can use the what?
Instead of those new showing in those regions, there's
Yes.
address on this customer stuff. I think I saw address there. So
Okay.
I was just
This one.
wondering, yes, addresses. So I was just wondering if it's possible for one to use address like country, city to actually get region and just fill it in instead of canceling all the region.
Instead of removing the data, instead of removing the whole columns, right?
Yes.
Yes. If you can do the work, eh? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
I can.
Okay, so if you can do the work, you can go ahead and do that. But what I'm trying to say is that there are some scenarios where there are some columns it is not necessary for your analysis. You have to remove them. Do you understand? Even if this region, even if the data is here, now the truth of the matter is that you see this city, you see this address. Can you use this address for analysis? You might decide that your management, your executive, they are not interested in all these address. So what's their own with use address to come and what they want to use customer address for? They might not be interested in that. And in some other business, they might be interested. They might want to know, okay, which location or which region are our customer coming from? So that maybe when you want to do marketing, they know where to focus on. You understand? And some business,
Yes,
they might not be interested. Do you understand? So it is not all reports that will require you that, okay, oh, you must provide region for them. It depends. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that it depends on your case scenario. It is not all the information. Okay, for example, now, I work on a project that we have about 100 columns. Are you going to analyze data based on the 100 columns? It's not possible. Who is going to be consuming the data every day? Who is going, even the people that we are building the report for, how many reports they want to be opening every day? They will not open them. They only have to do with the one that is important to them. Do you understand? So what I'm saying in essence is that there will be some scenario that some information are not necessary in your analysis. We can take them out. And the reason why I say that is because of data modeling and data efficiency. Now, the moment you have a big data in your data will be slow. If this data is about 5 million, this Excel, it can take you up to 10 minutes before it opens. Now, if you know that this is going to affect your efficiency, are you not going to remove the information that is not necessary? You remove them. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that it is you must remove them or you should not remove. What I'm just trying to explain here is that in some scenario, if some information are not useful for you in your analysis, just take them out. Don't say that because you must put them there, you have to put them there. When it comes to data modeling optimization, they will even tell you to remove columns that are redundant. And please, for people that are preparing for all these Microsoft exams, these are questions that you are most likely to face. They will ask you that, okay, you are trying to optimize a data model. What are the efficiency of improving your data model? Or remove unwanted columns. Those are the answers that you have to pick there. I have done this exam before, and those are the things that come out in those questions as well. You understand? So what I'm just trying to say is that there are different cases for different scenarios. In your own scenario, address, region, they might be important to your business that you must analyze them. But there will still be some information that they are not useful to them, that they don't report on a daily basis. You understand? So you need to remove them. You understand? So that's that. I hope you get that. For the person that has a question.
yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Let's
All right. Okay. So let's. It's already 4 o'clock, but please, you just have to pardon me. You have to give me some extra time. I know we start late anyway, so but you just have to pardon me and give me some extra time to finish on this. Okay. So
can I
the
ask
next
my
thing that will.
question?
Okay. So just give me like maybe 15 minutes. I should be done, or 10 minutes. Okay. So
Can I
the
ask
next
my
thing that
question,
will.
please?
Someone is asking question. Okay, please go on.
Yes. Yeah, thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Yeah,
And
good
thank you
afternoon.
so much for the lecture. My own question is very simple. You were saying something about on pivot and transpose. I mean,
Yes.
when do we know which one we are going to use? Because immediately you opened that data the other time, what came to my mind was that, okay, we are going to transpose. But you said
Okay.
transpose is different from on pivot. So how do we identify, okay, this data we are going to on pivot, why this we are going to transpose?
Well, the truth of the matter is that nobody's going to tell you when to transpose and when to pivot. You understand? Now,
Okay.
this is where your experience comes in and where your practicing comes in. Nobody's going to tell you you have to go and transpose, or your boss will not tell you that go and transpose now. What your boss is going to tell you, give me analysis of this thing, report for me. That is what they are interested in. It is not
Yes.
you that you tell your boss that you know data analysis. And when they are doing recruitment, you tell them you know Excel very well. It is not you that will now decide, okay, what is the best way to give out these reports? How do I go about my transformation process? You understand? Now, I won't say that this is when to transpose or when to not to transpose or when to use on pivot. When you see a data, you should be able to detect, okay, what should I do in this scenario? In this scenario, in this unpivoting scenario, right? You look at this table, Canada, US, Mexico, and all, right?
Yes.
In my own head, all these things are what? They are countries. Mexico, Canada, they are their countries. In my head, I will feel like, why can't we put all this information on a single column? Because it's going to be more effective for me to analyze on a single column than seeing them on a single columns. In this scenario, I cannot use transpose. The best thing to do is what? Is to unpivot it. And how do you unpivot? You can select all the columns that you want to unpivot together, select them and what? And unpivot them, right? You select them and what? And unpivot columns. Because what? You want to put all the information in a columns on a single row. Sorry, yeah, on a row on a single columns, right? That is what you want to achieve. But if you look at the category table, it is different on its own part. Why is it different on its own part? The reason why it is different on its own part is because the information that you are seeing here, right? They are on the, what is it called? On the row. You understand? They are on the row. Whereas you want to you want to make it what? On the column. You want to transfer it on the column. It is two different scenarios. You understand? But like I said, you just have to make sure that you practice, you do a lot of practice here, right? So you have to make sure that you practice. We won't be able to, but when you go to Power BI, I believe that the Power BI tutors should also talk much about that, just in case you do not get it clearly here. So it's also in Power BI as well. So
thank you very much.
All right. Okay. So let me see what we can do. I want us to close time. Okay. So let me do one more thing for us, and we call it a day. Any other thing that we do not talk about here because of our time, we will take it up in our Power BI class. I believe that the tutors will do justice to that. So one more last thing. We'll look at append queries. We talk about merge queries. So let's talk about append queries. How can you append? How can you append? So how do you append? Now, if you look at there is one more table that we have not brought in. So let me quickly bring the table in. I'll go to my new source. I'll go to text CSV. There is one more table that I need to bring in, 2023 order. I will bring in this table. Okay. Okay. Now, you see this order table and the 2023 orders. Can anybody tell me what you observe about these two tables? These 2023 orders and the orders table. Can you observe or can you spot anything with the table? Can anybody spot anything within the tables?
Similarities.
The heading is similar.
The heading is similar. Yeah, exactly. Now, and if you remember, when we are bringing in the orders table, I told you that we use a folder part to bring it in. And I told you that whenever you are bringing something of similar things, you use what? You can use the folder. You understand? Because the records are the same structure. Whenever you want to append information of the same structure, you use what? Append queries. Now, this information, orders, we have orders. If you look at the orders date, 2021 and 2022, they are both in the same folder. The 2023 orders are supposed to be in the same folder with them. But maybe the person that stored the data, let's assume that maybe maybe I'm the one working on the sales order before. Now, let's assume that I left the company. I left in Global Trader. I'm no longer working there again. Now they brought in Ifeoluwa to start working as the sales person. Now, when Ifeoluwa came in, she does not know that I have a folder that I used to put my orders before, right? She put it in a separate place. Now, you as a data analyst, you collected the data from two different salesperson, Ifeoluwa and Folorunsho, right? Now, you now look at the data. This data, they are the same structure now. Why are these people stressing me? Why can't they just put the data in the same folder or merge them together, right? Now, as a data analyst, you brought the data in Power Query. Now, you are not feeling like this data, so it's not, I cannot go and be analyzing 2023 data and be analyzing 2022 and 2021 separately. Now, it doesn't make sense, right? Now, that is where the append queries comes in. Append queries is going to help you to append information based on similar columns. The columns must be what? Must be the same. If the column is not the same, you cannot append. The column must be what? Must be the same. The name of the column must be exactly the same. Once the name of the column is exactly the same, then your appending will go smoothly, right? So now we have the others table now. I'm going to click on append queries. Now I'm going to use append queries. You know, the other time when we are doing merge, we use append queries as name. So this time I'm going to use append query. So I click on append query, then it's going to bring that option. How many tables do we want to append together? Just 2 tables. If you want to append more than 2 tables, you click on 3. So I'll click on table, I'll click on 2023 others. Sorry, I'm a little bit fast now, so I need to be fast. So I'm going to click on OK. Now, can you see? I have done the appending. I have appended the data. Now, if you click on your others dates and you go to your load more, you will see the 2023 information here now. Can you see? 2023 information. It is here now. Can you see? Now we have appended the information. Now, like I said, when you want to append, make sure the columns are the same, right? Make sure the columns are the same. And yeah, okay. So I guess, so for other table that we did not do, there is nothing here. We just need to check the table that the table are okay. The fact table, we are unable to do the fact table, but on the fact table, we need to do some transformation as well. Because of our time, we might not be able to do that. So, but let me quickly do something for us. Let me quickly do this thing for us. Now, for me personally, I really do not believe that you have to cram everything on your head. There are some times that we are even in the age of technology that you don't have to know everything on your head. You can use Google, you can use YouTube, you can use AI to assist you. Most of the time, I use AI to assist me a lot, especially ChatGPT. I use it a lot. Now, I'm going to quickly use ChatGPT to do something for us so that we can say that you don't have to cram anything on your head. The only thing is just to understand how to go about it. When you know how to go about it, then it is easy for you to say, okay, let me prompt ChatGPT or Copilot or anything that you know that it can assist you. And I will beg you, please, as a data analyst, you should not be far to ChatGPT. You should be very, very close to it. So now, I want to clean this unwanted character. You can see this data. Hello, am I still communicating? Are we still together? Are we still together?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Okay, so now you see this particular column. We can see some of this information here. We can see that we have a lot of unwanted character. Can you see this question mark? You know, imagine you are seeing this. You cannot present this thing to your boss like this. They will not accept it. They will not accept it, right? They will not accept it. Now, let's assume that you want to clean this unwanted character. How do you clean them? Someone will say that I can use replace value. Replace value will not work here. It will not work. If I try to replace this value, right? Let me try to remove it. It will not work. If I replace it, let me say I'm going to replace it with null. It will not work. Can you see? It's not going to work. Now, what should you do in this scenario? Actually, even me myself, I don't know the solution. I do not. The first time that I tried it, I struggled with it. I don't know what to do. I just said, okay, what should I just prompt ChatGPT and say ChatGPT. So let me go to ChatGPT. Let's see what ChatGPT did for me. I just went to ChatGPT and let me go to my ChatGPT. Like I said, you don't have to cram everything. It's not like you must know everything on your head. You can just, once you know what to do, you can always, prompt, ChatGPT to just tell you what to do. Okay, so I've done this thing before, right? So what I do is that, I went to ChatGPT. I told ChatGPT that I want to remove this character. Can anybody see my screen?
Yes,
No.
Yes, we can.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
I prompt ChatGPT that I want to remove this character in my data, right? I want to remove this character. Now, ChatGPT give me, it told me the process, the step to do, blah, 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 blah. It shall give me, I was doing it, I was getting an error, I was prompting it, and, it was giving me some errors. And at the end of the day, I was able to get one formula that actually works, right? That works, you understand? So I'm going to copy this formula now. This formula actually works, and it works anytime I see this type of character. It works for me. So I'm going to click on this column now. I will go to transform. Sorry, I'll go to add column. Under the add column, I will go to custom column. I'll go to custom column. Now, it's asking me for the new column name. So I will click on, let's call it new sheet name, right? Then I'm going to paste the formula that I copied. Now, the truth of the matter is that someone will ask me, how did I know this? I don't know. I only prompt ChatGPT to give me a solution, and ChatGPT, recommended a solution for me. Now, the thing that I copy here is called M language, because the engine that Power Query use is called what? M language, and M language is also known as what? Matchup language. So it just in case someone asks you or they ask you in an exam, know that the Power Query, the engine in Power Query is called what? The matchup language or M language. So now you can see now, I copy the formula. I only need to do some editing here. I need to do some editing. And what is that? I need to replace this particular with my column name. So I'm going to replace it with my what? With my column name. And please, M language is case sensitive. Please make sure that you write it exactly the way it is. M language is what? It's case sensitive. So I'm going to write ship name. Okay, so I'm going to say what? I will say okay now. Now, can you see the new column that we created? All the character is no longer what? It's no longer here again. Can you see? I've cleaned it. And I can use the same method to clean all other this column as well that we have that is not clean. So please, guys, there's not much time. And so there's a lot of things that we can explore. We don't have time. So I'm very sure that by the time you go to Power BI, the facilitator in Power BI too will teach you some of these things. They will put you guys through some of this transformation process, and you will still do it in Power BI. I know, sure of that one. You understand? But it's good to have a very solid foundation here in there. By the time you go to Power BI, it will just be like a cake for you. So that is all for today. And please let's ensure that we practice. There is more to this. This is not everything on Power Query. Make sure that you keep on practicing. When you get to Power BI too as well, you will also be taught there as well. But let's just make sure that we practice what we learned today. Any question before we call it today? Any question? We have our quiz, so I will be entertaining questions and quiz together. So let me drop our quiz. So let me drop our quiz. If you have questions, you can ask your questions if you have questions. Also, you can use the QR code for your for today's quiz. Let me also get you the link. Let me try and get the link. Or I don't know if Abisala is there. Is Abisala there? Abisala, are you there? Guys, yeah. Okay. So let me try and get the quiz link then. So let's get this link. No question. We have question. So let me quickly drop the link for the quiz. Okay. So I've dropped the quiz link. Let's try to. The quiz are very simple. It is all the answers are. Let me stop recording so that's recording the. Okay, so if you